Hi everybody, my name is Prasadini Shetty and you're listening to a brand new episode of, what is it? Movie Review Mondays! So clearly, first of all, we've upped the budget. It's through the roof now. We have no roof now because we spent it all on these cameras and these lights. And I also have two very beautiful guests with me here on the couch. Do you guys want to introduce yourself, Aerien?
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Aerien. Nice to meet you all.
Hello, I'm Zyrus. I'm usually the live editor for the show, but...
Yes. So you guys probably recognize him. Actually, guys, if you put up your hands, they'll recognize you better because these hands were in the previous episode. So, a little context, the three of us are film students. We look... Were. Reservoir. Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Oh.
But so Aerien is, these two beautiful people are our interns at HyperJump Productions, and we are so glad to have them on this episode where we are reviewing Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir
Dogs is a 1992 crime thriller directed by Quentin Tarantino. It stars Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, and my favorite Steve Buscemi. So a little synopsis for the people who don't know what this film is about. It's 6 criminals, they are hired to steal diamonds. They do not know each other's true identity. While attempting the heist, the police ambushes them, leading them to believe that one of them is an undercover officer. So it's safe to assume that the three of us have seen the film. We've seen the film?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I have seen it. I have a very fresh memory of it.
Yes,
us too. So this movie has like a bunch of different characters. There's like 6 different characters. They're all named after different colors. I want to start off with, who was your favorite color? Who was your favorite character in this film?
Oh my God, there's so many characters I loved, but Mr. White, would you call him the main protagonist, Mr. White?
I guess so, because he's like sort of in every scene. He's like with.
But Mr. White was my favorite. He was the embodiment of like having a conscience
Conscience, yeah.
in the film, right? And he was sort of trying to do the good thing.
Yeah.
But who acted? Who was the actor?
That was Harvey Keitel. He was actually also the co-producer of this film.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was my favorite character.
Do you think he didn't have a big role, but since he was co-producing it, he was like, just add 50 more lines, 50 more scenes? Do you think that happened?
Opposite of Tarantino?
Yeah.
Who was Tarantino there? Who was
Mr. Blue.
No,
Brown.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr.
What did you
Brown.
guys think of Tarantino in this film?
I think he just wanted to be there, to be honest.
But that is his directorial debut, so it makes sense. Maybe
Yeah.
it was the budget issues.
Yeah, his acting.
Can't relate.
Yes, it was a budget issue though, I heard.
What about you? Who was your favorite character?
For
Aerien?
me, in the beginning it was Mr. Pink.
Okay, yeah.
I think
Steve
until
Buscemi.
the end, it was really Mr. Pink, because first he was really practical.
And very professional.
Yes, very professional. Word of the day, professional. Yes. But then towards the middle of the film, I was starting to be inclined with Mr. Orange. First, he was cute.
One would say so. We
Yes.
would say so.
Yes. And he was just a very funny character his character was very relatable in a way.
Really?
Not that I'm a criminal.
No. Are you an undercover cop though?
Maybe.
Could be.
Undercover
Mr.
intern.
Orange is interesting.
Yeah.
Because what I was asking to myself was, when he was dying, how much of that was acting? You know what I mean?
Like the
How much of that was real, actually him, or how much of that was?
his like
Yeah.
gangster persona.
Yeah.
I do agree. For me, also, Mr. Orange was my favorite character. I think I liked him from the start because I liked the subtlety he had. But then I was like, is that all that he's gonna play in the film? Like, he's just dying, he's just bleeding out. And then, just as I was thinking that the whole, there's a plot twist where he shoots Mr. Blonde.
That's the main plot.
And that's why I like him even more because I hated Mr.
You
Blonde.
hated Mr. Bond.
Okay.
I love Mr. Bond.
I did not like Mr.
Mr.
Blonde.
Bond.
Like,
is so good.
It was so
I
therapeutic.
love this dance moves. Oh my.
Oh yeah. I think it was very
It's so
stiff.
good.
That's why I didn't like it. But that's why I loved Mr. Orange because he just shot up the character that I hated. So I was like, this is perfect. But Steve Buscemi's performance throughout it, he was hilarious. Like,
Yes.
I think Steve Buscemi is such a, even if he's playing the most serious character ever, he has like this hilarity to his.
It's his face, right?
It's his face.
It's his like
His aura.
expression.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even his body language, it's always like so like, you know, relate honestly.
It's like if you look into his eyes, you can see he's like suffering.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that makes
right?
for good comedy because you're
Yeah.
like, there's despair, but it's funny. So you say that you liked Mr. Blonde, and
You said that you hated Mr.
Mr.
Blonde.
Blonde, and what about what's
I
your
had like a
opinion?
love-hate relationship.
Okay,
with
so
him.
you're just being a
Yeah.
mix of our.
It's funny because I loved him and hated him at the same time when he was terrorizing this cop.
Oh my god.
Oh, spoiler alert!
Yeah. He was Van Goghing the cop
Yes.
basically.
Yeah, it was. I love that scene because first it was very, it was so intense.
Yeah.
I could feel the pain of the cop, but then at the same time I hated it. Like, why would you do that? But then that also shows his character.
Yeah, I like that. So Tarantino is known to be very gory and violent.
Oh, yeah.
But in this film, I feel like the violence was so off-screen. Like even when he's cutting off the ear, the
Yeah.
camera shifts to like
Yeah.
an empty corner in the warehouse. And even though there's literally a character bleeding in the background throughout the film, I felt like this was one of Tarantino's less
That's
goriest.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think because it was his debut,
Yeah.
maybe he was
Testing.
You think?
Yeah.
Testing the waters exactly.
Yeah.
But we did get, I would say the first scene, not the first scene, not the opening scene,
Okay.
but the first scene of we see Mr. Orange just bleeding in the car. That was to me that was like, okay, this is a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Like every Tarantino movie you see, you immediately see, okay, this is
Blood.
Tarantino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's blood and there's, feet.
blood. There's feet.
But there was no feet.
There
in
are
this
no,
one.
because there are no girls here. Only
Yeah, there was no women. Did you like that or did you guys not like
Well, there was one important.
The one who shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that? Is so
Spoilers.
true. But okay, why did you guys hate the character that you hate? We didn't know who you hated, by the way.
Person I hated the most, I can say probably Eddie. It's weird. It's just I just like all the other characters more.
Yeah, there's
Eddie has like he's a good guy. He wants to protect his dad. He's loyal to his dad, but it's like he's not interesting to me. Besides that,
Besides loyalty, his character arcs didn't have.
yeah,
There wasn't much.
yeah. He's sort of just like a dog for his dad.
Okay.
That is true.
Yeah, sort of like a servant. That's it.
Yeah.
So nothing interesting for me there.
It's yeah.
No, I just felt like Eddie was covering up for his dad because his dad couldn't be there. So he was the one. He was the face of his dad.
Yeah, patching up the whole.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting that when people go to make a heist film, like the whole fun about the heist is seeing the planning and seeing how it actually pans out. But here we get to see everything but the heist.
Yeah.
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 I wanted to talk about that. Throughout the movie, I was wondering when they're gonna show the heist,
Yeah.
but they literally just skipped like even after. They showed what happened after. The
Yeah.
heist. They never showed what actually happened.
Yeah.
They only say stuff like, Mr. Blonde did this. He started shooting,
Yeah.
but nothing else.
This movie is sort of like a Rashomon effect thingy, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everyone's saying the truth.
Yeah.
And so you're piecing this puzzle
Mhm.
throughout. Did you guys know that this film was actually loosely based on Stanley Kubrick's The Killing that came out in 1956?
Really?
I heard.
So the Kubrick film was like, it showed everything about the heist. This one was like the bookends of the heist, so the before and the after.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think speaking of like that, how they didn't show the actual heist happening. I think one of the themes of this movie is like how everything is like word of mouth.
Okay.
You know, so we only know situations
We don't-
based on what they've been telling us.
Yeah.
We don't actually see it.
We don't know who to believe.
Yes.
Even we were fooled.
even they were fooled.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would assume somebody like Mr. Blonde to be the undercover cop because the guy had a violent streak to him,
Mhm.
you know. But it's interesting that they use this plot twist of, spoiler, but Mr. Orange like just getting up and killing a guy. But that's an interesting point about like when he was crying, bleeding out, how much
Yeah.
of it was him.
Yeah, how much of it
Yeah.
was him? How much of him, like when he asked Mr. White to please hold me?
Yeah.
Oh.
How much of that was, I think that, in my opinion, I think that was actually him.
Mm-hmm.
Because that wasn't planned at all. He didn't want to get shot.
No.
Right?
Yeah, but then
It wasn't supposed to get hurt at all.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think he was using his weaknesses in order to get Mr. White to believe him, like I am innocent. Stuff.
Yeah, I think if he hadn't gotten shot, Mr. White would have sussed him out. Gen Z term, right? Because if he hadn't gotten shot, Mr. White would have no reason.
Yeah.
But don't you guys think they formed a bond strong enough for Mr. White to know for a fact that this kid is not this? Because they were in the car together, they were, making jokes.
I
Yeah.
think so, because the reason why Mr. White also believes Mr. Orange, I think there's also the sense of guilt, because he was there when Mr. Orange got shot.
Yeah.
And so I think Mr. Orange took that as an opportunity for Mr. White to actually trust him and not like suss him out. Like,
I think that happened gradually though.
yeah.
I think when he got shot, his reaction was just like, fuck. Oh, sorry. Am I allowed to say this?
I don't think so.
Oh, his reaction was, I don't know.
That's okay, that's fair.
Yeah, he just didn't want to die, right? So he couldn't think of anything else. And I think after he rested in the warehouse, I think that's when, okay, I can use this to my advantage. Right?
But
Mr.
when
White is on
when
my
you're
side.
bleeding on the ground, do you think you're like scheming and
After a while, I think once you've calmed down, which he had enough time to calm down.
my thinking was like, why did he decide to shoot Mr. Blonde at that specific moment?
I think because he was an undercover cop, but then the guy who was being brutalized is also a cop.
Yeah.
And he said, I have a little child, I have a kid with me, please save me. And so he just felt like, okay, this is too much, I need to kill this guy. So I think Mr. Orange is like in between having to be that cop, but then at the same time also being a criminal.
Yeah.
So
So should
at
he
that-
blow his cover or no?
Yeah.
He's thinking.
Yeah.
Damn. See, I feel like Mr. Orange is a very interesting character. Because as you said, like Eddie was nothing. He was just loyal. That's his
Yeah.
character. But Mr. Orange, we have all these layers where we don't know how much of him is Mr. Orange and how much of it is Freddy, I think his name was.
But then in the beginning of the film, the first scene, I watched it again after finishing the movie, and it all made sense. Because they were all in a dinner table,
Yeah.
and then they were talking about taxes and how Mr. Pink doesn't want to pay up. Joe asked who didn't pay, and then Mr. Orange ratted him out right away. He said, "Oh, Mr. Pink doesn't do taxes." And then after that,
Taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, tips.
Tips.
How do you know? She knows a lot about the character.
Yeah.
She's like, this guy doesn't do his
Taxes.
taxes.
He looks like he doesn't do his taxes too.
That
yeah.
I agree.
He doesn't do tips. So again, Mr. Joe was like,
Mr. Joe. That's his color name.
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Mama.
Joe. Oh, okay.
Joe was like, who doesn't do tip? Who didn't give out the tips? He was like, it's Mr. Pink. He ratted him out right away. And then after that, Mr. Pink said something, and then Mr. Orange was like, maybe I shouldn't give my tip as well. So he was like trying to
Yeah.
say that.
Trying to fit in.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
trying to fit
Okay.
in with
Interesting.
everyone else. So it's like him being a cop, but then at the same time, I have to fit in. So you can tell that he was a rat from the very beginning.
That's some good analysis.
What do you guys think of the opening scene, the opening
The
conversation?
Madonna conversation.
Yeah, the like a virgin conversation. Oh my, that was such a Italian mafia, Martin Scorsese
Yeah.
type opening. I was like, I'm gonna love this movie. I watched it. I'm gonna love this movie.
Yeah.
I like the slice of life aspect when it comes to like the criminal. Like whenever there's a story about criminals and they show like them just doing normal things, I think it's very interesting because we get to know these characters apart from
Yeah.
their work. And since we're not allowed to know about their names, their anything, we don't know about them. But through these conversations, we get to know what they believe. Even the tip thing
Yeah.
Yeah.
that made that so you got to like
Yeah.
spin your wheels and you're like something wrong.
In Reservoir Dogs, you mentioned they show everything except for the heist.
Yeah.
They show like the nuances,
Yeah.
all the little details of how this, what happened before, what happened
Yeah.
after. I think that I just thought about it now, but Breaking Bad, which has Reservoir Dogs is a big influence for
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. Vince Gilligan, he said whenever he's showing crime, he also likes to show all the little details that show that this crime,
Is
it's
bad.
not like a Hollywood, this is gonna go right.
Yeah.
They want to show Walter pulling something really heavy for like 5 seconds or pushing something really heavy. At the same time here, they wanted to show, what's a good example?
Like even how this undercover cop got into character,
Yeah,
even that scene. itself.
Yeah, got into character. They went into the car, how they were planning it,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Even like, oh, I don't want to be this color. I want to be something else. Like even
Yeah.
this tiniest
Yeah.
of things.
Oh, one of that, the character of Mr. Pink, because I feel like Pink is very like feminine,
Yeah.
so rosy, also colorful. And then Mr. Pink said that he wanted to change his name.
Yeah.
And I think that also says a lot about him. Like he doesn't, it's like,
It's not
He doesn't
professional
wanna be
enough
yeah,
for
Mr.
him.
he wants to be professional,
Pink.
Yeah.
but then at the same time, he wanted to be something else because I feel he doesn't resonate to Pink because he's very practical. This has to be done like this professionally. So I think
he just
those-
wanted a cool name, to be honest.
Yeah, also
Yeah,
that
like if you guys
Yeah.
could choose a color, which one would it be?
beige.
Mr. Beige?
Mrs. Beige.
Miss?
That's like the most boring,
boring
person.
thing. Miss Beige.
Like
Miss
who?
Beige.
Oh, Mr. Brown. Oh,
Mr.
one
Brown.
from one of my favorite scenes in the opening scene.
Oh, let's talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite scene.
Yes.
Favorite scene? Oh, hands down when he shoots the cop. Shoots Mr. Blonde. I think because I wanted more of Mr. Orange, I got that. I hated that character. He's gone. And then I'm like, okay, this is getting interesting. Why did he shoot? And then that leads us to his backstory, his like undercover, how he gets into character. It's really interesting because he treated this like a play, right? And speaking of plays, I felt like even this movie, it's very exposition-y. It's just dialogues. Like there are flashbacks and stuff, but it's even, this remind me of like 12 Angry Men where
Yeah.
the whole thing takes place in a room
Yeah.
and they block it very interestingly, and that's what happened here. But that's why I really like that because it was treated like a theater production.
And Tarantino is really good. Like his specialty is dialogue.
True.
Yes.
He's really good with it. Extremely good. Like even though in film school we're taught, do not, show don't tell.
Yeah.
Show don't tell. But Tarantino is really really good
But
at showing what happened
Yeah.
through dialogue without
Yes.
making it feel expository.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's-
because the characters are showing.
That is
Right,
true.
the characters, and like, I love one of the reasons why I love Mr. White so bad is how he transitioned, like how he sort of lost it slowly. He's slowly losing his mind.
Yeah.
The more we go on,
Yeah.
like in the beginning, obviously he was very nice to Mr. Orange.
Yeah.
Even with Mr. Pink, in the beginning, obviously, sort of nice, but then that's when he
Then
starts
there's
losing
tension
his
between
mind.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
He still has that humanity aspect in him.
Yeah. Even though he's nice, he's a
Yeah.
bad guy. Like even in that scene where they were in the car, Mr. Orange and Mr. White,
Yeah.
and he was talking about how to do certain things.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Orange sort of looked at Mr. White and he was like, "This guy's a madman, even though he's nice.
Yeah.
This guy's crazy."
Yeah. I remember in one of the scenes where Mr. Orange was talking to the fellow police guy, and then he was telling about Mr. White and how he's a good person. But then the policeman said, no, don't get too attached in a way, or like don't believe them, they're still
Yeah.
bad guys. So I think this also gives us a different perspective on criminals.
Yeah, because he was starting to like them.
Yeah.
Like on that car ride when they were making jokes, Eddie was driving, Mr. White was next to him, and behind was Mr. Pink and Mr. Orange.
Yeah.
Just before the heist. I think.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, like I don't want to betray these guys. That's probably what
Yeah.
was going through his mind, right? I want to stay with them, but I'm an undercover cop.
Like they humanized these. It's good that they showed us these cars. I think the car was where they would bond.
Yeah.
Because that was the only time where they would be together and not working.
Yeah.
And you get to see them bond. You get to see where they're from, like glimpses of it, even though it just slips out. They
Yeah.
don't wanna. So what would you say was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene, maybe not my favorite, but one of the scenes that was funny to me was in the first scene,
The
the
diner
beginning
scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
The diner
She was like, "This is great," and then I don't want to watch this movie anymore.
Yeah, if you notice all the the lines there. Everyone was huddled in a circle, and then they were saying their lines. You could see Tarantino there just giggling. It's so funny because imagine just writing a script and then your script coming to life.
Yeah.
Then you just see Mr. Brown laughing there. It was cute. Like, okay, he did well.
Why do you think Tarantino put that dialogue as the opening scene? Them talking about what like a virgin actually means.
Who was saying those dialogues? Was it
Mr. Brown was saying.
Mr. Tarantino, yeah.
Mr.
Brown,
Tarantino.
Mr. Tarantino. I don't remember who's arguing, but they talked about like a virgin meaning. Okay, I can't say it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people who've seen the movie, they know what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I think it just gives a glimpse into when they're not talking about work, what are they talking about? And also like,
Yeah.
how do they interpret art?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's humanizing them in a way,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
throughout the film, they're only talking about the heist and something related. But this is like, okay, but these are the people. These are who they are.
Yeah.
So I think it gives us like the mafia thing in like Scorsese films, like just. So you guys have seen other Tarantino films,
Oh,
and
yeah.
since this was his debut, what elements did you think has stayed throughout his filmography when it comes to, because he's known for his style. Do you think this film was a good, like, it set a good tone for what his style is going to evolve onto? What elements do you guys like in his films? And what did you notice in this film? I want to know.
I think what really stayed is all the pool of blood
Yeah,
just
very.
gushing in.
Let's just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Blood.
Blood is gonna be there.
Blood, Tarantino.
Blood, lots of cussing, lots of N-words.
Yeah. I hate that he just named himself Mr. Brown so he could just have the N-word pass.
I didn't think
Mr.
about that. Oh my god.
Okay, so blood is there. What else in terms of style and elements? I think the dialogue still remains very
Yeah.
Oh, I think the criminal dancing.
okay.
Yeah. If I remember in Kill Bill, I think Uma Thurman, or was it Uma Thurman, or one of them.
He loves music. And
Yeah.
dancing.
Yeah,
and
just
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
like
that-
iconic.
Yeah.
adds like so much sinister in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's a happy song, but this guy's about to like
Yeah.
burn
kill.
this guy alive. Yeah,
But it also just reminds you that this is a Tarantino movie.
yeah.
It's a fun movie, right?
It's a fun.
It's a fun movie. It's not epic, where your mind was blown.
Yeah.
It's not like
Somebody
like,
else's
this
mind is blown on screen, but then they're dancing in the background while that happens.
it's not like, oh, I'm dying. It's like, oh, he's dying.
He's dying.
Yeah.
It's a party every time somebody gets shot.
Exactly. Tarantino movies, it's a party every time.
Yeah.
It's a party every time.
So, okay, trivia. Did you guys know how this name came to be, Reservoir Dogs?
I wanted to ask that.
So essentially, now there are two stories. I'm gonna tell mine, and I think Aerien has her own. I think she just made this up, but so it was like he went into this one video production company, and I don't know if it was a it was a production company, and there were a bunch of scripts, and they called it the Reservoir of Scripts. Actually, I'm gonna.
The reservoirs of scripts.
No, I'm sorry. I think I'm. Sorry, the people call the unmade scripts Reservoir Dogs. So that means dogs trapped in a reservoir tank fighting for attention, which is what this film was sort of
right.
about. Where everyone's trying to prove their
Yeah.
innocence, that they're not, and they're just a bunch of dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know you guys' opinion on the endings. In my opinion, I thought it was like an open-ended, because we don't know if Mr. White kills Freddy or if the police gets to him first. What do you guys think happened towards the end?
Well, it's open-ended, right?
Yeah.
I think he doesn't kill him because what I thought was police enters the scene and he just couldn't shoot. Wait, in the ending, I heard two cops. No, I don't know if it was Mr. Pink, but because it was a black screen. It was two cops arguing. It's like, put the gun down. No, keep the gun up. I was
Yeah,
like, so-
yeah.
Because he was pointing the gun down.
Ah,
Was it like
yeah,
that?
probably.
Yeah.
Put your weapon down. Put your
Yeah.
arm.
So that's why I thought it didn't shoot Mr. Orange.
Oh.
So what do you think happens with these characters in the end?
Because from what I know, maybe the reason why Mr. Orange was confessing to Mr. White is because he knows he's gonna die now. And the only good human thing he can do for Mr. White, for trusting Mr. Orange, is to just confess, I'm gonna die anyway. Let me tell you, I'm a cop. But then in my head, I was really mad.
Okay.
You could have survived. If you've survived 3 times, how can you not survive this time? Right? And
We wanted him to survive.
yes, I loved Mr. Orange too. But yeah, and then he confessed, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is gonna die. He's gonna die completely.
Editing magic, we're back, right?
Yes, we're back.
back.
Small technical difficulty. Speaking of technical, and speaking of difficult, Yakuza boss.
Yes. Technical. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you get remember when the cop that was tortured was talking to Mr. Orange
Yeah.
after Mr. Orange had shot Mr.
Yeah.
Blonde.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but it was the cop's head in the foreground
Yeah.
and Mr. Orange in the background, and you can see like a line
Yeah.
where on the cop side the background was blurry.
Okay.
Did you guys notice that?
No.
But on Mr. Orange's side, it's completely clear. It was.
That's
Did
interesting.
you guys notice that?
No.
No. I was too focused on the blood.
No, I saw that, and also, when we see Mr. Blonde's backstory,
Yeah.
a lot of continuity errors.
Oh.
Oh,
A lot of continuity
Is that why he's your
errors.
favorite?
Like sometimes he's smoking, right? So and then it cuts and then he's like. That.
I think that's just his character. He's such a psychopath.
crazy.
He's like,
Oh.
because I did see him throw a cigarette when he was about to light. So maybe that's what happened.
Maybe that also tells about his character how unpredictable he is. Like suddenly
I like
It was
the-
on purpose.
Yeah, I like that.
Tarantino, you genius.
We're adding, we're patching up his holes for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the things I've also noticed in terms of production design with the colors as well, in the bathroom scene, there are
yeah.
bottles there. When Mr. Pink and Mr. White were talking, and then Mr. Orange, they're fighting about Mr. Orange, how, oh, you can't trust this guy, or not trust this guy, but he's like, how can you just save this guy? And
Yeah.
blah, 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 he's just new. And then you see like in the background there are bottles there, like there's orange and pink together. Pink and white together.
Okay.
And then orange was just separate. Those bottles. So it's foreshadowing like, oh, this guy is different.
This guy's not like the rest.
Those little Easter eggs that
That
Tarantino
bathroom
puts.
scene was so interesting. By the way, did you guys notice like the production design in general and the lighting made it feel like a dream
Yeah.
because it wasn't real. It was fabricated, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked too perfect, but
Yeah, it
not
was-
perfectly perfect, but like hazy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I love that scene though where the camera is sort of rotating and he's telling the monologue to the cops and it just goes. I feel like that also added to the theatrical of thing where it gave in theater, you say the dialogues to the person that is not supposed to hear it. So it was a very interesting shot as well.
I have another question. Like near the end,
Yeah.
during the Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
Um,
The Duele el Corazón.
yeah.
I don't think that's what it's called. That's an Enrique Iglesias song.
What? I
Duele.
just pretended to understand.
Yeah, me
Just-
too. You just agree to her every time.
Yeah.
They should, otherwise they'd be fired.
Yeah. So, Mr. White was pointing at Joe.
Yep.
Joe was pointing his gun at Mr. Orange, and Eddie was pointing his gun at Mr. White. But who shot Eddie?
No. So I actually rewind and see. So I was like, who shot this guy? Like,
Yeah, who
who
shot
invited
Eddie?
him to the
Yeah.
party? So it was Joe pointing his. No, it was Mr. White pointing his gun to Joe.
Yeah.
Joe was pointing it to Mr. White.
No, he was pointing it at Mr.
Orange.
Oh.
Orange.
I once
he was
once Mr.
pointing
White
out.
was shot, I saw him shoot Eddie. So he went.
Why would Joe shoot Eddie?
What? The sun?
Sorry,
Whoa.
Mr. White was shot. So he shot Joe and Eddie.
Damn.
Yeah. So he was.
Wow. What a.
Yeah. I had to
What a
rewind.
Chad.
I rewinded it 3 times. So I was like,
Because who shot Eddie?
exactly.
I was like, did Mr. Orange shoot
I thought Joe shot Eddie, but then again I was like, no, why
Yeah,
would he? I thought
but-
the bullet ricocheted, but it didn't.
So Joe shot
ricocheted
first.
off Eddie's belly to Joe. Just shot both of them.
Yeah.
So Mr. White shot both of them and survived for a bit.
Okay.
Wow.
But that makes sense. Maybe the reason why Mr. White is also like an older character is because you've
He's
seen.
experienced.
Yeah, he has more experience already.
He's a tough nut to crack, so he's
Yeah.
like. So, did you guys like the ending? Did you think it did justice to the whole
liked it.
experience?
I was laughing so hard when he was just slowly pointing the gun like, like what? Like he couldn't talk, but like it was so funny.
I was just
laughing
mad
so
at
hard.
Orange.
You're mad at
Why are
Orange?
you
Yeah,
mad at
like why
Orange?
would you confess? You could have lived more.
But maybe he does because he's a cop.
I
so
think because he felt guilty, right?
yeah.
He didn't want to do that to Mr. White.
Because Mr. White told him his name and his real name and where he's from. So Orange felt like I just owe it to him.
Yeah, but I think he survived. Like in my opinion, it's open-ended.
Yeah.
I think he survived.
He lost so much blood though. But yeah.
Yeah,
But-
he did.
But Mr. White said you die in a couple of days. You wish you were dead, but you
No,
don't.
no,
So he survived.
that was just
Before.
him saying.
Oh.
Because
Do you
when he
think-
was talking, Mr. White was talking to Mr. Pink. He said he's gonna die if we don't get him a doctor
Yeah.
by tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it wasn't tonight yet, so I guess.
I think Mr. Orange survives and
Same.
White goes to jail
Yeah.
and then starts making meth. And then he meets Jesse.
Yeah.
That's
Meets the other
Jesse.
Pink.
Jesse Pink.
Just
Jesse
Pink? That's his.
Why'd
Sorry.
you kill Orange, Mr. White?
But Mr. Pink just left with a.
Yeah, that was
But-
smart. He just
yeah.
left.
Because he stole it, right? He stashed these
Yeah.
diamonds. It's his. And he's a professional. And
Yes.
professional people deserve to get diamonds.
Yeah.
Professional.
He's off to meet Mr. Purple.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And steal his name.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So Joe's business involves multiple people, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
He talked about Mr. Purple.
Yeah, a different guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think that's why one of the like Reservoir Dogs makes more sense? Because if there are other people doing other jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and this one just kind of like, I don't know. I'm maybe it's reaching. it's
Good
probably
point.
reaching,
Good
but-
point.
But then
Thank you.
also, Joe and Eddie are the only ones with names where they call themselves by their names. The rest are just colors. That means in Joe and Eddie's world, they don't even exist. They're just workers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this was a vanity project for Joe? He's like, these guys are asking me for a job.
Yeah, it was just like a side thing.
Yeah, like, guys, enjoy it. This is a small job.
Like when I saw the street of where the jewelry store was,
Yeah.
it's not like a grand
Mm-hmm.
store, right? So maybe it was just a simple side job.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe it was a reservoir.
And
Dogs job.
that makes sense. And then a French guy comes in, and somehow we can connect it to Arien's theory
Yeah,
about the French
somehow.
guy.
Bunch of dogs swimming in the reservoir.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's safe to assume that you guys liked this film.
I loved it.
Oh.
It wasn't mind blowing.
Would
It
you call this your favorite Tarantino film or no?
No.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't. Okay. So
I
if you guys had to rate this out of 5,
Out of 5.
Out of
If
5?
It was 10.
No.
Or if it's 5 the
There are
ratio.
5 dogs swimming in a tank.
Oh.
How many dogs would you save? That's your rating.
Ooh.
5 dogs.
I would save the cats.
Okay. Amen. But
Can I save 3 dogs and like half of another dog?
yeah, because
Okay.
I agree with that. Even
Yeah.
I would save 3.5 dogs.
Yeah.
What about you, Aerien? Do you agree with us?
I'd say I'd save 3 dogs.
Oh.
And maybe a puppy. So 3
So
and a.
quarter?
Yeah.
That's one of the most interesting ratings we've got.
I want to say 3.5, but everyone said 3.5 already.
You don't want to agree with us.
Yeah, I
you
don't
just want to
wanna-
be
Yeah.
I'm in the middle for a reason.
okay. So that was the review slash analysis. I feel like this was more into the
Yeah, we
analysis.
can't review an old movie like this, right?
True.
Everyone's.
Because our review is just, yeah, we liked it.
We liked it.
So that was our review slash analysis of, can one of you guys say that the title?
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir.
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir
Should
Dogs.
get Quentin in the podcast.
You mean
Yes, but I-
Tarantino?
Whoa. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Movie Review Mondays. And yeah, it was lovely having you guys. What did you guys think of this episode?
I loved it. I mean, I did the setup, and me and Dennis. I mean, it was great. It was a great talk.
Yeah.
I love podcasting.
Okay. Maybe he's gonna replace me soon. I should watch out for him.
Huh?
I'm just here, guys.
She's here too.
I'm just here.
But-
We're here. We're here.
Yeah, we out here. So, but thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was lovely having you. Loved the color combination. This was not planned, by the way. But hope you guys enjoyed this episode too, and we will see you pretty soon with another Movie Review Monday coming out on Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.